So welcome everyone on this call, and thank you so much for giving us your time to join us. We hope we'll make it well worth your while with this fantastic program of speakers and talks we have for you today. Just a little bit about Gatekeeper. I'm sure most of you know Gatekeeper very well, but some here may not be quite so familiar. The Gatekeeper Trust was founded some 40 years ago by a small group of pilgrims headed by Sir George Trevelyan and Peter Dawkins and others. And the trust has developed over the years, but is generally devoted to personal and planetary healing through pilgrimage, seeking to rediscover the ancient art of pilgrimage as a way of journeying with an awareness of the sacred nature of our environment, which seems more deeply relevant this year, in the year of COP26, than ever before. As Mike may have mentioned, in the near future, recordings of today's talks will be made available on our website for all ticket holders. So if you can't avoid missing something today, you will be able to catch up or rewatch on the website later. Also, the Friends section of the website is new and full of interesting new content. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, please do. And if you're not yet a friend, please consider joining us. As Mike says, there'll be an opportunity to ask questions at about 12:15 after the first three speakers. We're not operating the Zoom raised hand protocol, but if you have questions, please type them in the chat box, preferably, if possible, saying to whom they're addressed, and we will do our best to direct them to the speakers in that Q&A session. So to start the day, our first speaker is Peter Dawkins, co-founder of and guiding light to the Gatekeeper Trust. Peter is a philosopher, a geomancer, visionary, and founder with his wife Sarah of the Zoant's Mystery School and the Francis Bacon Research Trust. So Peter will start off by dedicating the day for us, and in his intriguing talk will introduce the idea that the land itself is a grail, and that the Grail path is an initiatory path of service which can create the Holy Grail. So over to Peter Dawkins.
Thanks very much, Stephen. And hello, everybody. We're talking today about the walking the green path. So I've been asked to dedicate the candle for the day. So I'm going to dedicate the candle to exactly that, to walking the green path. So here's our lovely candle and a nice candle holder. And perhaps as I dedicate the candle, you might just go into yourselves and just think to yourselves, what is the green path and how do I walk it? Or just attune to your own divine love. So we dedicate the candle today to walking the green path. Now walking the green path, what does this really mean? Well, in my talk, I shall introduce the idea that the green path is the path of the Grail, an initiatory path of service, wherein we can discover that not only each of us is a Grail or vessel of consciousness, but also the land is a Grail of consciousness, and that we can help make the land a Holy Grail, just as we can make ourselves holy as Holy Grails. But first of all, what does green mean? Each of us can have our own ideas about green and see the colour green in different ways and shades, but generally and traditionally, green has some very specific meanings. For instance, the colour green can refer to the greening of nature. Such greening represents the life force operating within all nature's life forms, so it was also seen as a symbol of eternal life. Then green, as the central colour of the rainbow, is related to the heart and to heart love, the heart chakra being the central chakra of the 7 main chakras, and love being the life force that is in each of us. The Druids, I like the Druids, the Druids saw green not only as representing nature, but also the understanding, in the symbolic sense that nature, the land, stands under the sky, and the blue of the sky represents the wisdom which the intelligence of nature understands. For this reason, the Druids symbolized the land as a green stone, Merlin's green stone, in which lies the wisdom of the universe, hidden and waiting to be found. And the British Isles were referred to as the Emerald Isles, the Isles of the Hesperides, in the orchards of which Merlin sits, happily munching the golden apples of knowledge, knowledge of the wisdom that lies in the land. Moreover, not only in Celtic tradition, but also in Hebrew tradition, the emerald stone is symbolic of the Grail, the stone that has fallen to earth, but is made holy and raised up to become the crown jewel of the universe. So walking the green path can refer to the physical act of walking along pathways in nature, which as pilgrims we attempt to do with as much awareness as possible of our natural surroundings and of the wisdom enshrined in nature and of the heavenly realms above. Moreover, we try to do this in love, loving the land, loving the path, loving nature, loving those we meet, loving those we walk with, loving love. Walking the green path can also refer to the way we choose to live our lives and how well we do this. As pilgrims, we will have chosen to walk the green path, as the green path is an initiatory path, and all initiation involves entering into a mystery. This mystery is essentially that of the Holy Grail, a mystery of love in all its manifold manifestations, by means of which we can discover and know its essence. I'm going to share my screen now to show some slides for you. So in order to enter into the mystery of the Holy Grail, we have to make a decision, a dedication to walking the path of life in the most loving and useful way we can. This fundamental decision is known as goodwill, the will or desire to do good. Goodwill is God's will, and as God is love, such will or desire is that of love. The next challenge, because there are always challenges, concerns what sort of good we can do, or intend to do, or try to do. To draw forth such answers, we will ask ourselves, our hearts, to tell us what it wants us to do. The heart is the seat of our divine self and our love. Our desire or will to love is the impulse and energy of love that arises from the heart. This energy of love, which carries the wisdom of that love, is a vibration that speaks to our mind via the throat. We hear this inner voice as intuition. The thinking or rational mind centered in the head will then start to conceive what the inner voice is saying. This is called conceptualization, but it is the faculty of imagination that conceives the idea, so it can also be called imagination or visualization. That is to say, the mind sees as a vision what it hears intuitively. Some people are better at this than others, but the better we can visualize or conceive the idea, the more clarity we will have concerning it. We then think about the idea, testing it out in our minds and making it as clear as we can. Then we decide whether it is a good idea or not, and whether we like it or not. If we like it and decide it is good, we work out how to put it into practice. Then we command our body to put the idea into action. During the action, we get continuing feedback from our senses, which stimulate our intuitions and thoughts to help guide, direct, and modify the action if necessary. So in other words, the path of initiation is a 3-step or 3-degree process: goodwill, good thought, good action, which is the life process of desire, thought, action, performed in a good and true manner that expresses love. Christianity refers to these 3 stages or degrees as faith, hope, and charity. Faith is a loving desire, hope is a loving thought, and charity is a loving action. All this is good and true, and this is the path of the Grail. It is symbolized by the Grail hallows, which have to be achieved by the one who would be sovereign of the land, the final hallows being the Holy Grail itself. By achieving these hallows, we become holy and make the land holy as well as Holy Grails. And all this is symbolized in the imagery of Merlin's green stone or emerald isle. The stone is the starting point, the state we are in at the beginning. The sword symbolizes our desire or will to do good, which is also the sword of truth, the vibration of love that speaks from the heart via the throat to the mind. We call it intuition. The spear is our clear and one-pointed vision, our conception, idea, and comprehension of what to do in order to fulfill the good will of our hearts. The shield is symbolic of our action, which will be love in action. Such action is caring for and protective of truth and of the good in all other human beings and creatures. To be worthy of the Holy Grail, we have to prove we can be true guardians of it. Then we proceed to the center, wherein we discover and become the Holy Grail. We're each a grail, a vessel of consciousness. The outer form of the grail is the body, the physical body we each have. Within our body or grail is our individual consciousness, which we call the mind or psyche or natural soul. When our consciousness or psyche is pure, it is symbolized as water. As an aura, it looks like an egg. Such purity is called innocence, which can refer to having no life experience and therefore no knowledge of what life is about, like that of a newborn babe, or it can refer to the purity that can be attained by a person living a good life by means of following the path of initiation, the path of the Grail. Normally we go through life polluting our psychic water in one way or another until we learn the lessons of life and do better. Then we start to purify our water or psyche. And purification requires initiation, which means dedicating ourselves to a path of love, a path of goodness, a path of holiness in which we seek to become a holy person. This is known as the path of the Grail, wherein we become a Holy Grail. Such becoming is known as achievement. We achieve the Holy Grail by becoming the Holy Grail. We become holy when we are illumined, which illumination is achieved only by following the path of the Grail, the path of initiation, or the green path. Whilst we're following the path of the Grail, we are conceiving within us a golden child, a child which, once born, will be immortal and shining with light, like a sun of light. This, in fact, refers to our own illumination. Such illumination is knowledge of truth, a knowledge acquired by living the truth, expressing the truth, and hence from experience, knowing the truth. At the moment of completion of our good deed, which if truly good will be self-sacrificial, the golden child is born. The golden child is our higher self, our immortal, celestial, illumined self, transmuted from our mortal natural self. Such transmutation is known as turning water into wine. Such a celestial soul, our spiritual soul, appears as if it has angelic wings, created by the rising kundalini in us that raises the heart flame with its golden sunchild of light to the head and beyond, where it shines forth through the face and illuminates us and gives joy to others. Then we follow the illumined path of total, dedicated service to share our love freely and compassionately and to help all others achieve the same. In this way, it could take a long time, but in this way, we will eventually become all heart, a great sun of light. It is equivalent to the light born from the candle flame. Candle flame represents our heart set on fire with love, love in action. Within this flame of love, a sun of light is born, the light of which shines out beyond the flame and into its surroundings and right out into the universe. The path of initiation, or path of the Grail, is the warmth of our love melting the hard wax of our own hearts and personalities, making it liquid, then vaporizing the liquid, then setting the vapor alight as a flame. The 3 stages of liquid, vapor, and flame symbolize the 3 degrees of goodwill, good thought, and good action. This is transformation, transforming from one stage or form to the next. It is good action that births the golden child, the sun of light whose radiance blazes out beyond the flame. This birth is transmutation, when the limited form of the burning candle with its flame is transmuted into unlimited light. In the mysteries of initiation, this is known as turning darkness into light. It is also known as truth brought forth by time. In the symbolism of the Grail mysteries, this is the moment when the water is turned to wine. The wine is known as the wine of poetic inspiration. It speaks to us, guiding us and inspiring our thoughts and actions. Then we have become a Holy Grail pregnant with truth. After this, the wine is offered up to the Most High, the divine source, in devoted love and service. This is when the golden child is born, its light released into the universe. The wine has now become a wine of knowledge, the knowledge of truth. Then we are a Holy Grail not only containing, but also blazing with light. We are a fully illumined being, shining with light. This is also known as the mystical marriage, because now the wisdom of love within us, known as the word of truth, has become manifest and known. In other words, truth has been revealed. There are 2 truths, the truth hidden within us, which is the divine wisdom, and the revealed truth, which is the wisdom made manifest and known. These 2 truths are referred to as the truth of being and the truth of knowing. The former is the groom, the latter the bride. They are respectively the Alpha and Omega. The bread, symbolizing the wisdom, the spirit, the Alpha is the groom. The Holy Grail, the intelligent soul, the Omega, is the bride. Their marriage births the golden child. And none of this can be achieved without help from others, from our family and friends, from strangers, from nature, and from the spiritual world. For all the help we receive, we must give thanks. Thanks to all our helpers, above, below, and all around. And when we give thanks, we share our light, our wine with them, in love. In the symbolic ritual of the Holy Grail, the bread or wafer is first of all dipped in the cup, the Grail. The bread or wafer symbolizes the wisdom inspired into our hearts, carried there by the holy breath or spirit. Before the bread is dipped, the grail contains pure water, holy water. The bread or wafer symbolizes the bread of life, which is the sun, the divine light of love. When the bread is in the grail, the water turns to wine. Magic. The grail then becomes a holy grail. The child of light has been conceived and is alive and well in the love flame womb of the heart. Then follows the raising of the Holy Grail and the offering it up to the Most High. The Holy Grail is then lowered and the wine shared with all who wish to receive it. This whole ritual is symbolic of the path of initiation, the path of the Grail, which is an act of service and aspiration. What is being raised is our heart consciousness, our heart child, raised from innocence or unknowing to a full knowledge of truth, to revelation of truth. At the highest point, the mystical marriage is completed and blessed. The golden child is born, takes its first breath, and is filled with the breath or spirit of the universe. Symbolically, the wine is then filled with an even greater spirit and shines forth the spirit of love as a blazing sun or star of light. This love light is then shared. The wine of knowledge and its light, the revealed truth, is shared with all who wish to receive that light and are ready to receive it. What occurs or can occur in each of us can also occur in nature, in the landscape and the land and all it contains. The land is a grail, a vessel of consciousness. It is a body containing its own consciousness, but it also contains all other living forms of nature, including ourselves, the human being, each with our own individual consciousnesses. The land and each special place in the landscape can become a holy place, a holy grail. But like us, it needs help. Help given by us human beings, by other forms of nature, and by the spiritual world. We can help by loving those places that call us, by listening and attending to their needs, and helping to make them harmonious and beautiful. As soon as we start doing this, if it has not already happened, the spiritual light or bread from heaven will descend and fill the grail. It usually descends as a ray or pillar of light containing the form of an angel. Such an angel becomes the spirit of the place. The divine wisdom enshrined in the angel can then speak to its grail, as also to each of us as helpers in this process. It can inspire us to do good things, the right and loving things, to help the place become a holy place. If offered up in service to the greater whole, the greater good, then the light of such holy grails will become blazing stars of light. And eventually the whole world could be filled with such holy grails, so that the whole world becomes a planetary holy grail, shining with light. If the whole world is made a holy grail and offered in loving service to the greater good, the universal good, then the whole world will become a blazing star. I absolutely believe in this. In a way, totally in a way, I've dedicated my whole life to try to help this, as also have many others. And I've seen many places that have become holy grails, and many more that are in the process of becoming holy. In each case, the landscape has a central focus into which a ray or shaft of light from heavenly realms is piercing the ground. To share my screen again. This is an angel I've seen on Iona some years ago. And when established, such a ray becomes a pillar of light, complete with an angel, a landscape angel as I call them. Others call the angel the spirit of the place. The pillar of light forms the spine of the angel. The angel's aura is complex and different for each angel, but where the angel's aura or auras meet the ground, they create circles of spiritual energy around the center. The energy and consciousness of the angel's pillar of light and auras then invoke or attract the geomantic energies of the land to gather together to the center, where they are then raised up the pillar in spirals of etheric energy, like a great fountain of shining, shimmering water. The fountain then arches out and falls again to the ground, but filled with and married to the spiritual light energy of the angel. This arching effect manifests the auras or wings of the angel as a celestial form of light, filled with rainbows of light and sparkling with light like stars in the sky. The rising fountain of terrestrial energy, married to the spiritual energy of the angelic column of spiritual light, sets the chakras of the angel spinning, such that each chakra becomes a blazing sun of light, radiating its light out into the world and universe. In this way, the angel not only speaks, but also shows its wisdom, and in this way, truth is revealed. Now, all this can happen naturally without our help, but when we help, the process is speeded up enormously, and even greater magic is performed. When all is going well in this respect, then further and greater outpourings of light from the spiritual realms takes place, and places rapidly become holy grails, shining with light. And this is going on right now, but it needs our continual help. Nature needs us, just as we need nature. The land needs us, just as we need the land. We're all grails. We're all in the process of becoming holy grails. Part of us is already a holy grail. Parts of the landscape are also already holy grails. We need to link all these up to make even greater holy grails, and pilgrimage does this, as also does dance, song, ceremony and prayer, and simple loving. As we do this, we need to also offer up these holy grails and ourselves as holy grails in service to the divine good, the universal being, so that the greater light may fill the holy grails and bless the world. Now, everything we do is accentuated in its power to do good by means of rhythm. This is because the divine wisdom or word is associated with vibration, which produces rhythm as an integral part of its vibration. The vibration produces sound, which can be developed into music, but the rhythm produces the required power to enable it all to happen. Sometimes it is called nature's heartbeat. If we want to work in harmony with nature and its underlying wisdom, then we need to attune ourselves to and work with the rhythms. Then the way in which we do this, together with nature's own processes, creates the musical melodies. And then, working together either in one place at a time or in many places, we can create great concertos and symphonies of sound and light. For our world, the chief rhythms are the solar festivals, the solstices, equinoxes and quarter days, and the lunar festivals, which go together with the 12-month cycle, and the 40-day rhythm, also known as the 9 breaths rhythm. And I've shown this all rather quickly, but you'll know a lot about most of what I've shown you, but you probably don't know much about the 9 breath cycle. And one of the best stories or myths to explain it is to do with what's called the cauldron of Ceridwen. I'm going to tell this because the 9 breath rhythm is not so well known nowadays, but in fact it is an important rhythm concerned with soul development. In mythology, the 9 breaths refer to the breaths of the 9 maidens who attend the goddess Ceridwen, helping her by stirring the brew in her cauldron and breathing upon the fire that heats the cauldron and its brew, thereby keeping the fire burning and maintaining the brew at the right temperature. All very important. Ceridwen is the Celtic name of the great goddess and mother of nature. Her cauldron is the Grail. Her mystery is the mystery of the Holy Grail. The 9 maidens who serve the goddess are symbolic of any human soul who serves the divine love by attending to the cauldron and assisting in turning its contents into the magical brew of poetic inspiration and knowledge of truth. And the 9 breaths occur at 40-day intervals throughout the year. At midwinter, over 5 days, the brew is brought to perfection, the mystical marriage takes place, and the golden child is born. And the birth of the child is then celebrated on Christmas Day. The cauldron and its brew symbolize nature, which is the goddess herself, her body filled with her soul or intelligence. She is the bride, impregnated with the wisdom of her groom. And during the year, her intelligence is increasingly enlightened with wisdom, such that it grows within her as a child of light and is raised up as a holy grail in an offering of service to the universal good. As already demonstrated, this is symbolized in church services during Mass or Holy Communion, wherein the preparation, raising, offering, blessing, and sharing of the wine-filled chalice takes place. It is also symbolized in the mysteries of the Kabbalah. In the 9 breaths rhythm and mystery, each breath of a maiden symbolizes a level or heaven of consciousness. This is equivalent to rising up the Kabbalistic tree of life, where in Sephirah number 10, the kingdom or bride at the foot of the tree of life is impregnated with wisdom and gradually raised to become married with her beloved in Sephirah 1, number 1, the crown. She, the goddess, then gives birth to her golden child, the blazing star of knowledge, of truth revealed. This is the Christ star or Star of David, the dove. It is the Star of Bethlehem seen by the 3 Magi. This revelation of truth, symbolized by the blazing star, represents knowledge of the whole tree of life and goes beyond into realms and universes as yet unknown. Well, the mystical marriage and birth of the golden child is also symbolized in the church wedding ceremony, wherein the bride walks up the aisle to join her beloved and be married, and then be blessed with her husband at the high altar. Their blessed union produces a golden sun of light, whose radiance of love and joy blesses others as the married couple walk back down the aisle after the wedding ceremony. And I have seen clairvoyantly such golden suns as a radiant golden ring of light around the married couple as they are blessed, and then afterwards walk together down the aisle. Indeed, their faces and eyes and whole beings shine with light and happiness, which is shared with and felt by all those assembled in the church to witness the wedding ceremony. I'm sure you've all, or most of you at any rate, have experienced this. In this way, the radiant light and joy of the Holy Grail is shared with others. Now, in terms of the land becoming a Holy Grail and birthing its golden son or child of light, I and others have especially witnessed this on Iona, the sacred isle on the west coast of Scotland, which recently, a few years ago, acquired a golden ring of light all around it. And then, to my surprise and delight, I've also recently witnessed our local Sweet Swan of Avon landscape becoming a Holy Grail, into which light beings are now pouring en masse. They really are. This means that one day, soon I hope, it will also birth its golden child of light. When this happens, it will have huge consequences, good consequences, not only for Britain, but for the whole world. I'm very excited about this, as you can see, but Sarah will say more about this in her talk at the end of the conference. But suffice it to say, something amongst all the troubles of the world, something wonderful and redemptive is afoot in the world. Hooray! Thank you very much. I'll finish there. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. What an inspiring talk, and so full of knowledge and wisdom. I feel it's like, I don't know, some intensely deep tract of knowledge you've shared with us there, and also so heartwarming and inspiring. You know, I love the idea of the Grail in the land, and the idea of a planetary Grail. I think that's beautiful. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen.
Very good start for our day.